Thanks, Bob. Bob was giving me a promotion this morning. And what a beautiful morning it is, isn't it? The skies are clear, especially when you think about yesterday and all day yesterday. And we were concerned on yesterday whether or not we would be able to have this event on the outside. But this morning the skies are clear. Even a dry sort of air in the atmosphere. The sun is bright and the park is beautiful, which is a testament that on this day, as we remember some 15 years later, there's a lot of living spirits that exist, not only in this city, but throughout this country. I want to say good morning to everyone, and thank you for coming to this important commemoration. Today we look to the future while remembering the past. The bells are tolling as the nation marks a dark day in sorrowful yet hopeful ceremonies, such as the one here today in our beloved Market Square Park. 15 years ago, in an instance, our world changed forever. How we board an airplane, how we go to an event. We even have changed where we may choose our travel destinations. And in a larger sense, how we view each other and how we view the rest of the world. Terrorists hijacked 4 passengers' planes and rammed 2 into New York City's World Trade Center and a 3rd one into the Pentagon outside Washington. A 4th jetliner crash-landed on an empty field in Pennsylvania. By the time it was over, the hijackers had killed 2,977 people in the deadliest terrorist attack on American soil. Each one of those persons had a name, and each one of those persons had a family. We watched in disbelief, and we were shocked as our seemingly safe shores were touched by terror. And when that shock wore off, we came together as Americans, and a remarkable spirit of unity rose from the tragedy of that day. We will never forget the innocent lives lost. We will never forget the brave acts of everyday Americans, and we will never forget that each one had a name and each one had a family. We will not forget the courage of the men and women those firefighters and police officers, medical personnel and private citizens who risked and gave their lives in response to the emergency call. And today, Chief Rodney West is here representing the 3,800 firefighters that we have in this city. And Chief Martha Montalvo is here representing the 5,200 police officers we have in this city. And today in this city, we collectively remember those first responders who rushed into danger when many others were rushing out. Each one of them had a name. Each one of them had a family. I ask all Houstonians to join our fellow Americans so that in unity, we as a nation will stop and remember those lives lost on 9/11. Remember where you were on that day. Remember where you were going, the places in which you had already arrived. For myself, I can remember on that particular morning, I was heading to take a deposition in a lawsuit that I was involved in. And I was driving there, the radio was on, and came on and said that a plane had flown into one of the New York buildings. And I didn't think of a terrorist attack. I just said, wow. And then when we were in the deposition, one of the receptionists came in and said that another plane had rammed into one of the other New York buildings. And again, we just said, wow, incredible. And then getting back to the law firm and discovering what had happened in Pennsylvania. At that moment, it was as if life had stood still. It was as if something was happening, but you simply just couldn't understand it. It seemed so unreal. It just seemed as though it was not happening. But the reality is, it did happen. and that was 15 years ago. But 15 years ago, this morning, as we are situated in this park, seems as though it was only yesterday. It was only yesterday. And a new generation has been born since then. But the story remains the same. The lives were lost, and each one had a name, and each one had a family. Later in this program, we will hear from members of the Houston Grand Opera, who will perform a commemorative song cycle by composer Jay Keggy and writer Gene Shear, entitled Pieces of 911, Memories from Houston. This special song cycle tells the story of Houston area first responders who volunteered in New York, as well as those in our city affected by the attacks. I want to personally thank the family of Lauren Catuzzi, Grandcolas, for turning their grief into a lifetime commitment of serving others. Lauren was born on August 31st, 1963. She was a passenger aboard United Airlines Flight 93, and she made a call on that airphone to her husband to tell him about the problems that they were experiencing on that particular flight. But Lauren was a graduate of Stratford High School. Lauren attended University of Texas. Lauren met her husband, Jack, on that particular campus. And then Lauren was in the process of writing a book. And 3 weeks before she boarded that flight, Lauren had made the decision that she was going to leave her job and focus on that book. And though she herself may not have completed it, her sisters decided to complete that book. And so in 2005, the book, You Can Do It, the Merit Badge Handbook for Grown-Up Girls, was published in 2005. And from the proceeds of that book, a foundation was created. And through the Lauren Catuzzi Grandcolas Foundation, over 50 young students have received college scholarships. One of them is on this stage this morning. In addition, the foundation has provided financial assistance for women and children healthcare institutions, leaving a legacy of hope, inspiration, perseverance, and love. Is there any wonder that 15 years later, we are in this park where the skies are blue, the sun is shining, there's dry air in the midst of Houston's humidity, the park is beautiful, and life is still flowing. Someone wrote that children are messages we send into the future, to a world we ourselves may never see. And today, through this foundation, we are sending children into a bright future based on the contribution made by one that was on that flight and through a work that she started before she died. But the good news is that her work and her dedication and her commitment still lives. That is a powerful statement to any terrorist anywhere in the world, that you may kill the physical body, but you cannot destroy a living spirit. In closing, I want to thank the members of the T.H. Rogers Singing Choir for their beautiful rendition of I Will. What a lovely selection for this important commemoration. And let us all remember that whether we are in New York or Pennsylvania or in the city of Houston, we are all connected. And hopefully the legacy will be that even though we are many individuals coming from all walks of life, on this day and as we move forward, we are all Americans, and we have so much to be thankful for. May God bless our country. May God bless our city. May God bless each and every one of us.